Hey, it's Alex, and I'm pleased to announce we've just launched the latest beta featuring part of Cerbos Hub, which is Audit Log Collection. Now, in authorization and access controls, making a decision is one thing, but then capturing the why that led to that decision is almost as important. And this is where audit logs come in. An audit log captures who tried to do what, at what time, and whether that action was allowed or denied by what particular policy inside of your system. So whether you're a developer in a security role or maybe a product team, these audit logs provide invaluable insight into what is going inside your application and how your application is performing and how it is secured. So as a developer, Cerbos Hub Audit Logs provide visibility in every decision that's made inside of the application. So whether you're trying to debug how an action was performed or not allowed, for example, understand the logic paths and make sure your authorization logic is working as intended, this gives you that breakdown. If you're in a security team, you need to meet those regulatory requirements around access controls and be able to demonstrate those access controls. And this audit trail gives you exactly that and shows you exactly what happened by each particular identity inside of the system. And if you're in a product team, these are super useful to understand not only user journeys, but also how the authorization process or the authorization decision affects those user journeys, enable you to create more handcrafted or scoped down roles that may be relevant for the different user groups or personas inside of your application. Now, with Cerbos, audit logs come in two flavors. This has been built into Cerbos policy decision point from day one, and we have access logs and we have decision logs. Access logs are all about understanding the actual requests that are going to your system. So if you're in a development operations team or infrastructure team, the access logs provide you that insight of, okay, this particular service called this particular policy decision point, and it called this method at this particular time. And very useful to really understanding the request flow for kind of request tracing purposes. Decision logs, on the other hand, if enabled, give you the granularity of exactly what the decision was going on inside of the application and from that request. So the decision log gives you the full input. So this particular principal with these attributes, try to do this particular action on this particular resource. With that input, the Cerbos engine, the Cerbos policy decision point, then evaluates your policies, comes up with the decision, and then that decision log captures the output as well. So for that particular input, the action view was allowed, the action approve was denied, the action update was denied, and not only to give you that allow deny, but also gives you the tracing with it. So it will tell you which version of a policy or which particular policy matched, and the other context around which derived roles a person may have had, and then what particular build of those policies led to that particular decision. So you can really trace back through your version history to understand which policies are live at that moment in time. Now, this has been in the core of Cerbos from day one, the open source project. But a typical deployment is going to be running more than one policy decision point. So in order for you to kind of aggregate and pull those logs together, you had to go and wire up your own log collection, aggregation system, etc. With Cerbos Hub, that is just a one-line config change. By using and opting in for sending your audit logs to Cerbos Hub, what you get is a fully managed pipeline where all those audit logs from all your different policy decision points that are deployed in your infrastructure are collated together and sent off to Cerbos Hub for processing, and then brings it into a UI for you to go manage. So let's go and have a look at what that looks like. So here we're looking at a Cerbos Hub workspace. We can see here we have some decision logs, and each one of these is a record that occurred of an action. We can see what kind of request it was, the ID of the user or the principal that tried to make the request, what particular resource kind they were going through, and what particular actions. And we can open one of these and get a drill down of exactly those inputs. So we can see this particular principal had these attributes. They're trying to access expense number 5 here. Here are the attributes of the particular expense they're trying to access. And then we can see the decision. So in this case, the view, update, and approve actions were all allowed. And we can see the particular version of the policy. So the expense resource policy, the default version here matched. If there are any outputs, we'll demonstrate those as well. And then you can also go down to the full detail where you get even more context. So for example, the particular bundle or build of your policies from Cerbos Hub that matched, allowing you to then do that trace back through your history and understand what particular policy was live at that moment in time. And these are all filterable, so you can go in and filter down by a particular principal, see all the actions by that particular principal ID. We can go and filter this down by a date range, so you can look at a particular time window, or just look in the last 5 minutes, for example. And then over in the access logs views, this is where we get that request status. So we can see the call, the timestamp, what the upstream source was, and then what particular method they were calling. And this is all brought in and managed right inside of Cerbos Hub for you. There's no database set up, there's no network set up. It's all the heavy lifting is done for you. And to enable it, it just requires you to make a config change inside of your policy decision points to basically enable sending your audit logs to Cerbos Hub. So whether you are new to Cerbos or deploying just a handful of PDPs or going full-scale production deployment across multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environments, Cerbos Hub Audit Logs has you covered for your audit log collection, insights and visibility into what is going on inside of your system. We have a lot more in store. We're looking forward to sharing with you, also hearing how you're using Cerbos Hub and the audit log specifically inside of your company today. Looking forward to chat more. Thanks.